Allora, benvenuti a tutti, io sono Giulio Baccari di Helpicare, grazie di essere venuti oggi per questa occasione, per questo Helpimeeting diciamo inedito, in terra veneta, è un'occasione speciale per noi e per noi è l'inaugurazione del nostro ufficio di Verona e sarà gestito da Luigi, che molti di voi conoscono, Luigi Berzapora. Ok, allora la prima relazione è di Dave Gilbert, che invito a venire qua al tavolo, e lui ci presenterà una relazione sui giochi accessibili. I giochi accessibili sono una nuova frontiera dell'accessibilità che è venuta avanti negli ultimi anni e un sacco di dispositivi sono stati creati e prodotti dagli ultimi tempi. E Dave ci farà un po' la carrellata di quelli prodotti dalla sua azienda, si chiama Pretorian. Prego.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Seems I've brought the British weather with me. My name's Dave Gilbert, and I'm the Managing Director of Pretorian Technologies, based in the UK. And Helpicare and Pretorian have been working together for, I think, 22 years now.
Yeah.
Wow. Long time. And it's a very good and very long-lasting relationship.
We're getting older together.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so I'm just going to today introduce you to some of the ranges that we do, and also focus on a couple of the products that we've released just recently. Are you translating these?
No,
okay.
no.
Okay, right. Okay. All right. So we're perhaps best known for our mouse alternatives. There are too many to show you here. I think we have something like 20 different mouse alternatives, and it ranges from joysticks that you will be very familiar with, through to some products that are very unusual. Like, for example, this one here, the Track It, which we kind of describe as the mouse of last resort. If nothing else works, perhaps this one will. Or this one here, which is specifically for people with muscular dystrophy or forearm strength issues. So we try to have the entire spectrum of products.
Ok, un momento. Questa parte non so se la ripetete tutti. Ok, posto.
Okay. Yeah. We also have quite a wide range of access products for touchscreen devices. So typically iPads or iPhones, but of course also Android. And it ranges right through from joysticks, switches, and the product up there, the applicator, which is one of our largest selling products. It's extremely popular because it can do so much. We have a large range of switches and switch interfaces of all different kinds. With over 60 products in our range, there's just too many to really tell you about. But there are some at the back today, so if you want me to demonstrate some of them, I can in the breaks. We're also the home of Simply Works. Now, Simply Works is a wireless ecosystem, and it's used by us mainly, but also we have a couple of licensees who manufacture some of the products that we don't make. Typically the keyboard here. We don't make keyboards, but we partner with a company that does. So that's also Simply Works. So it's really intended to be an ecosystem just for assistive technology. It doesn't spread outside of that. We don't want it to. Okay. And it can do everything from computer access up here, toy control, mains appliance control, and also some mid-tech AAC. Okay. And we say it's easier than wires, and I genuinely think it is quicker and easier than wires to set up. Okay. I mentioned a moment ago we have some mid-tech AAC devices as well. Again, we have them at the back, and I can demonstrate those to you later if you wish. And some environmental control products, and I'll say a little bit about those in a few moments. We also, in the past couple of years, have introduced some assistive gaming products. So I'm just going to spotlight a couple of those today. You know, I'm always a little bit cautious about introducing our gaming products, because what we don't want is to become known as Pretorian, the supplier of gaming products, because our range is so much larger than that. But I think it's worth talking about anyway. And here's why. Because it's easily overlooked, but actually it really gives people with a disability a real sense of purpose in their lives. And you know, especially if they're unable to work, then you know, it provides them with something that's fulfilling, something that allows them to communicate with people that they may never meet, because of course most games allow that these days. So it really can be a very positive experience for disabled people. And it all began with the Xbox Adaptive Controller, which was released in 2018. We immediately responded by making our Optima joystick able to work with it. The Xbox Adaptive Controller has a USB socket at both ends to work as the left thumbstick and the right thumbstick. And although the Optima joystick is really intended as a mouse equivalent, you can switch it into gaming mode. So it plugs directly into the Xbox Adaptive Controller, and you can use it to do gaming. And we have Xbox approval for it, so we're even allowed to put the Xbox logo onto our products. We also have our Ultra joystick. It is also able to do gaming in exactly the same way as the Optima joystick. And the reason for doing both is that Ultra is a joystick that must be mounted. It has no buttons. You have to plug in switches, and it really has to be mounted to function at all. And we were aware that some gamers would really need that. So that's also available, also has Xbox approval. Okay. But we went further than that. And somebody said to me at an exhibition, actually at ATIA a few years ago, they said, wouldn't it be great if we could achieve gaming by eye gaze? And so we did it, and it's called Game On. And it uses the infrared output that's available on almost all AAC devices. And so on screen, you would have, for example, here, a very simple layout of a very simple grid set here, which is just to control one stick and 4 buttons. And you can, of course, change this layout to be whatever you want it to be. But what happens is shown on the right here. So from the AAC device, if you were to eye gaze one of these cells, it will send infrared to here, to that little window. Game On converts it into gaming data, which goes into the Xbox, and then, into the Xbox Adaptive Controller, and then into the Xbox. And so it's actually very easy to configure, and you can change the grid set to be however you want it to be. We provide quite a complex array of cells that you would never use for gaming. That's just too busy, too complicated. And it's intended to be a library. So you can copy and paste to another grid set your own grid set. You can change the appearance to be however you want. And I know, for example, Helpicare have a grid set where they actually took a picture of a hand controller and used little pieces of that as pictures instead of symbols. And all of that is possible. And you can make a very simple layout or this more complicated one. If you have a disabled gamer who is only capable of eye-gazing one single cell, maybe it's the fire button in a game, then that's fine, because Copilot will help you. It's built into the Xbox. It's not ours. It's something that is built in, and it allows two players to act as one. So in that simple case where you have somebody who can only fire, then an able-bodied co-pilot can help with everything else. So they can do the steering or whatever needs to be done, and then the disabled person is empowered to just fire. Okay. So I think it's possible in almost every circumstance for a disabled person to achieve some level of gaming. And Copilot is very much your friend here. Okay? We also have actually one product for Nintendo Switch. And I should say it's Switch and not Switch Lite. Okay? This product, there it is. It's called Flex Controller, and it's the only product we sell that we don't make. Okay? It's made in Japan by our Japanese distributor. So it's a very close relationship we have with them, and they make it because, of course, Nintendo is a Japanese company and they like to deal with Japanese companies themselves. So they make it, we sell it throughout the Western world. And it's very similar to Xbox Adaptive Controller. You see it has the sockets on the front, it has USB sockets both ends, but in every other respect, it's really very, very similar to Xbox Adaptive Controller. One key difference is, whereas with Xbox Adaptive Controller, you can plug in anybody's joystick. With this one, you can only plug in ours. Okay? Not our rules. We're more open than that. It's Nintendo's rules. Okay. Now, another offering we have is PC gaming. Those of you who play video games will know that the three keys that are used for navigating in PC games are W, A, S, and D. Up, down, left, right. But of course, that's too difficult for most disabled people. So what we have is our Quester joystick, which ships exactly the same as Optima joystick. It works as a mouse straight out of the box. But you can put it into a mode which allows it to become a little like a Switch joystick. So if I move the stick to the left, it will give me A. If I move it up, it will give W. There you go. So up is W. And if I like, I can also turn on the diagonals. So then if I move in the diagonals here, I would get W and A together. Now, you don't have to do that. And it depends on the disabled user as to whether that would be okay or not. And you would be able to make that judgment. Okay? So, a little bit about some new products. We just launched a few new ones. This is one. It's called Ultimate Switchbox. And Of course, every hardware manufacturer has a switch box, and we already had a couple. But we wanted to make a switch box which would literally do everything. No questions, it will do it. Any keystroke, any combination of keystrokes, any, we call them macros. So if I wanted to send a sequence of keys, then you can do that. If you want it to be latching, you can do it. And really, we hope at least, that it will do everything you would ever want to do. And one really important thing is it has one extra socket. So it has 7 sockets. 6 along the front here, and the other one is at the back here. The 7th socket allows you to change level, okay? And it's the only product on the market where the user can change the level. And I think that's actually the most important point here, because it allows the user themselves to change the level, and no other product does that. I think that's actually really a powerful thing, because you are allowing them to control everything about the product. Okay, I said all that. And this is how you set it up. This is a little unusual. You see, this has no display to keep the cost down. So how do you set up all of the different things it can do? And here is the answer. This behaves like a keyboard, of course. So if I plug this into a computer and launch Notepad or some other word processor and put it into programming mode, then this is how I set it up. It will tell me on level 1, socket 1 is set to space, socket 2 is set to enter, left click, middle click, right click, double click, etc. So I can change it on the screen on my computer, and when I leave the programming mode, it will remember the settings, and I can then take it to any device. So although I must set it up on a PC, maybe a Mac, even a Chromebook, I can then use it anywhere with those same settings. They will stay in the product until I change them. Okay? Now, I spoke about Game On a few moments ago, and I mentioned that it uses infrared to achieve eye gaze gaming. And once we had made that product, we realized that we could do more with infrared. So we have 2 new infrared products that we just launched. This is the first one. It's called IR Toy Controller. It shouldn't be. It was a mistake. We should have called it something else, because it's not just about toys. Okay? The purpose is it has 6 output sockets here, output sockets, and you can plug those into a switch adapted toy directly. But you could also plug it into iClick or Helpipower. Is what it's called here. Yeah, Helpipower. And then you can control the mains appliance. Okay. So it's a really easy way to achieve environmental control. All you need is this box and a cable. That's it. And you can do toys, you can do mains, you can do almost anything. And we supply it with, this is the grid set. You download it from our website. Don't worry, I know it looks complicated. You won't ever use this. This is your library of cells that you can copy and paste to your own grid. Okay. So,
one moment, vedo delle facce contrariate. C'è qualche problema? Questa è una libreria che lui ha già preparato con tutti i codici IR, diciamo, già registrati, che corrispondono alle varie funzioni che vogliamo far assumere alle 6 uscite dello scatolotto. Lo scatolotto riceve il segnale IR e in uscita va ad assumere la funzione che noi gli diamo copiando una di queste celle. Okay?
Okay. All right. So we have 6 outputs here, and you can set latching, a time period through from 5 seconds to 1 hour. This button is on, and that button is off. Now, they are not the same as latching. With this one, if I gaze once, it comes on. If I gaze again, it goes off. This one, if I gaze, it will come on. If I gaze again, nothing happens because it's already on. Okay? And actually, these are really important because imagine, for example, you make a grid set just using this and this, and you change these to 2 photographs, one of a lamp on and one of a lamp off. Now the user has a direct connection with what will happen when they look at that cell. Okay? It's quite different to latching, where you have to get across to people that 2 opposite things will happen. Okay? For some users with cognition difficulties, that's not an easy process. So splitting them like this is actually really important. Okay. And finally, at the end here, we have these. This is tap mode. If I look at that, then the output will just give a very brief press, as if you have tapped a switch. So if you have some other equipment that expects switch input, you can use that to make that thing happen by eye gaze, okay, which again I think is quite a powerful thing. But the most important thing is you will never use this grid set. You will only use it as a library. Okay, okay, that's the wrong picture. The picture on there should be this one. This is IR keyboard and mouse. This is our other new product. And it allows an AAC device user to type and to move the mouse on a different computer. So imagine that an AAC device user is going to their workplace or their school, and they need to access a computer there, perhaps a networked computer. So they cannot use their AAC device as the computer. They must use another computer. This plugs into that other computer, and then you would use a grid set like this. Again, it's on our website. You can download it. You can change it. Of course, this is the UK layout, but you could change it to the Italian layout or any layout. If you wanted it to be alphabetic instead of QWERTY or AZERTY, then all you must do is just rearrange it. It's really very simple. Now, this one is a little different. It's not a library like the last one. This one you are going to use almost as it stands. But you may just need to reorder things, or maybe take some things away. If maybe you want to, if for example you wanted to run Help Kids Learn titles or something like that on the other computer, then you would only need space and enter. So you could copy and paste those to a new grid set and do that. Okay, so you could you could call this one scan, you could call that one select, for example. But it gives you complete control. Shift will change the layout so that you can see all of the other characters like hash and star and so on. Function key takes you to a different menu. It gives you F1 through to F12. And the grey symbols down the bottom here are the mouse functions. So this is the direction of the cursor. This one in the middle is stop, left click, right click, double click, drag, speed settings. And this one is very useful. It's called nudge, and if I turn it on, then I make very small movements instead of large movements. So you can get to exactly where you need to be.
And it works only with Windows or also with Android?
No, work on anywhere a keyboard will work, this will work. Okay. Yeah, any device, even an iPad, actually. If you turn Assistive Touch on, it will work even in an iPad. This one also is a little different. This one brings the cursor to the middle. No matter where it is, if the cursor was in this corner, then it would snap it to the middle on the other computer, of course, which allows you to find it very easily. There are also 4 of these in the grid set, 4 different colors for user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4. Reason is infrared is, of course, light, and light bounces around the room. So if you have more than one user with this in a room, then typing on one will appear on another because the light bounces around. To avoid this, you choose the user number, and then the yellow is user 2 actually, so I would set 2 here, and then it will only react to the yellow keyboard, and we'll ignore the other 3. Okay. Oh, I've run over, sorry.
Oh, it's perfect.
Okay, thanks very much. QR code will take you directly to our website, but of course all of our products sell through Helpicare in Italy. Thank you very much.